We're going to try this again.
Hi, Rick. How's it going?
Hi, I'm doing fine.
Me too.
Well, like we just did about 10 minutes worth of commentary before we had to abandon that one and try this one again. We're here for game number 2 between Shadyforce and Eriror. And yeah, we're going to have some fun with this one.
Oh yeah. We definitely got a sneak peek from 10 minutes earlier of what their first seed was. It actually did look like they got quite a few number of items out of Kakariko, and they got a flute early on in Escape. But hopefully this seed will treat them at least just as nicely.
No.
What, Rick? No, what? Haven't these runners suffered enough? Shady, unfortunately, what happened in the first version of Game 2, which is actually causing the restart, unfortunately, Shady had a crash. So we're there. And of course, Eri, being a really good sport, decided to just cancel out that race, and we're just going to restart here.
All right, well, we're underway. Yeah. And the old uncle is telling us some fancy language, and you continue to talk while we see Shadyforce leave.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it looks like Aries' stream, he had to restart OBS or something like that. So hopefully he'll actually be back online in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, of course, we're gonna be actively watching Shadyforce's side to see how he makes it through the front of Escape.
Clear mouse, what are we getting from the uncle?
We got 10 bombs for the last one, so let's hope for either bomb prize pack, or I would like to see sword, personally.
How about a red cane?
That is as far as possible from both of those options I listed as possible.
Well, you're gonna get that and you're gonna like it, and we get arrows as the first drop.
Yeah, so no such luck, at least from the last game. Ooh, that was a Sank card too, very early on.
How nice to get Sank cards, the very first heart.
It's maybe a little premature because Sank card is supposed to be located in the sanctuary, just to slightly off-put. But at least in this case, we know that every single heart piece in container is going to be, I guess, regular, which means they'll actually be able to kind of get up to 14 hearts pretty easily. Because normally, this being a hard item pool, runners are capped at 14 hearts, and sometimes you often see that some of these runners will have 13 or 12 hearts before kind of running into a bunch of health upgrades turning into green 20s. And one of the reasons is that they haven't picked up Sank heart yet.
Well, there we go. We're up to 5 hearts. You're already in Escape.
They're so overpowered for this game. Normally you're here at I don't know, 3 hearts. So certainly we'll make things a little bit easier. We are on green mail. We are going to have to deal with a ball and chain guard that does 1 heart of damage per hit. But of course, we did see, for those of you who were around about 10-ish minutes ago, both Shady and Eri ended up dealing with the ball and chain guard very well with the pots.
Shame you can't use the mushroom against the ball and chain guard.
Yeah. Maybe you can lure it with a good needle or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Although speaking of which, so we do have our very first fetch quest found in Escape. It would be really swell if we could get a flute like last time, so we can quickly turn in that mushroom.
That's not gonna happen.
No. We can hope. Oh no. Well, so luckily there are 3 pots.
Well, I mean, why is that a big problem though? I mean, hey, hi there, green 20. Now, what does that green 20 mean at 3 minutes in?
Yeah, speaking of, we talked about health resources turning into green 20s after the 13-14 heart container. But yeah, this early on, this is hard item pool. So unfortunately, we are not going to see the highest level of other quality of life or improvements. For example, we're not going to see the gold sword. We're not going to see red mail. And we're also not going to see silver arrows. But given that it is this early on, that was most likely going to be a mail upgrade, because we don't have a 3rd sword in order to get up to the 4th sword, but we do have a green tunic opting to be able to get up to blue tunic.
So as Shadyforce makes his way up, we already know what's going to be in the chest at Dark Cross, and the big question is, are we going to get a chance to get some bombs off the rats? That's our last chance for bombs here in this Escape.
Yeah, and you know, and if we end up not getting bomb price pack, it's not going to be the end of the world. Just because that both, if you're not going to be able to get to the back of escape, you certainly hope that your opponent also is going to be back there, right? So if something unfortunate does happen, as long as it happens to both runners, there's going to be nothing lost.
All right, shadyforce making the way down to the back of escaping can assume that Eriror will be joining us real soon. I just saw his personal stream pop up, so therefore we will be catching up to him by the time we get to the sanctuary, one would hope.
Yeah, so given that Shady does not have a small key yet, this is just like last time going to be a guaranteed small key, because without it, we can't get to the back of escape. Alright, so we do have, it looks like Shady is trying to at least farm a couple of rats in his way. It didn't look like he decided to want to get the clump of rats in the corner. Oh man.
And you know the worst thing is when you do all that effort to try to get a rat and you get no drop out of it.
Yeah, and you know, right now we don't even know the prize pack of what these rats have.
Hey, we got an update.
Oh, sweet! Oh man, oh, technology is such a great thing when it actually works. Alright, so hopefully this is going to be the end of all of our woes. You know, we've got Aries stream back online. We're not going to see any more game crashes. We're going to have a great, exciting, fair, and a really high execution match here.
Yes, here we go. Now we can actually have a true game number 2 between both of these runners. So we didn't get to the bag 3 of escape. We don't know what's going to be inside of this chest here, and it turns out to be, well, okay.
Ooh. That's actually a pretty nice item. Finding the moon pearl so early. And of course, I think the only real downside about finding the moon pearl so early is that we are not going to hear any bunny music by the time we get to Dark Worlds.
That sucks. All right, we do know we have a green pendant over at Desert Palace, 2 crystals in the Light World as well at Eastern and the Tower of Hera, and we get to see both of these runners make their way through the fog of the Lost Woods, is where shadyforce had his crash in the first attempt at this game number 2. Let's hope that he can actually get to where the mushroom item is this time around without a crash. Yo, bombs.
Yeah, no, that's a really nice tree pull. All 4 bombs gonna be more than enough for them to take care of everything they need in Kakariko. Oh, okay, early route divergence already. It looks like Eri is going to opt to pick up the 20 rupees. Probably worried about money resources early on because we do have some shopping we want to do. And unlike, of course, the last game that they got, they pretty much got the treasury on the back of escape. They don't have like 400 rupees going into the village.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about this race compared to the first seed these two try to do. This one here, not very, very kind on the rupees. So we do see Eriror coming into the village with 81 rupees. shadyforce opting not to grab that 20 that was at the mushroom spot. But he'll be fine because he will get 30 rupees in the back of this back of this house here, and then he'll get some additional inside of the well, in addition to whatever might be in these chests. Hey, that's nice to find. You got a bottle with a bee in it. And a book.
And a book. All right, so, at least if the book is going to show up, you want it to show up earlier, so you don't end up isolating, say, a bunch of tablets after you've already, let's say, gone up to, like, a mountain or something.
And even if shadyforce had issues with rupees at this point in time, that is a good bee, which you can sell to the bottle vendor for 100 rupees. All right, so we're going to go into the well, where I believe Shady will get the remaining 10 that he does need to purchase the item off the bottle vendor regardless. Yeah. And so we find 10 arrows in the back and what are going to be in the other 3 chests.
This Kakariko is looking very unlike the last Kakariko that we saw from these 2 runners. Seems to be just kind of nickel and diming their way through with a couple of resources thrown in.
Well, that was unimpressive there at the bottle vendor. All 100 rupees going towards 1/4 of a heart.
Yeah, and it looks like Shady is going to opt to at least keep that B for the time being, not going to sell it off to the bottle vendor. They don't have a permanent weapon yet, so that could be something of use later on.
Yeah. And I would assume that if Shady Force is going to use it, it's going to be in the mini Moldorm cave to take care of those 4 mini Moldorms, so that way he can get to the 5 items in the back there. All right, Sick Kid, what are you going to give us this time around? Yay, thank you very much.
I mean, you know, for a kid, that 50 rupees is pretty high for an allowance, right? Or something like that. Oh, all right. Well, you know, we certainly don't want to underappreciate, you know, Sick Kid. We are grateful, but we just picked up 300 rupees.
I mean, we just stole the tavern's till right there.
Yeah. I mean, you know, business must be booming in Hyrule or in Kakariko. I guess everybody likes to have a drink or two.
I mean, you got those patrons that are in there all the time.
Who tell pretty good jokes from what I've heard.
Your definition of good may vary.
Yeah. Alright, so both runners did check library. Of course, can't get the 5 rupees without boost, but they're not going to need it after getting so much money and checking Grace game. Given that they already have so much health, it's certainly not going to be worth their time picking up that extra heart container.
Alright, so we're gonna head to the dam.
Yeah, I was almost thinking maybe Eri wanted to go quickly do a big flipper in order to turn in that mushroom that they pick up in the back of the skate. But no, it looks like we're actually just gonna do the same thing for both sides, picking up some, you know, some items in a pretty item-dense location, just dam, and most likely, as you said, given that both runners probably kept their Bs, right, they're gonna go over to Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense at this point in time, unless you want to chance your game, or, I mean, even Eriror, that's the only thing he has against the mini Moldorms, besides those 7 bombs, which he's going to use one to get inside, because he has no magic for that Canis Samaria.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a really good point. You know, Shady does have the additional option of putting down a couple more Samaria blocks, just in case he needs it.
Yeah, but Eriror does not, so here we are in game number 2 between these two, and these two are very familiar with each other.
Yeah, oh yeah. In fact, Shady, I think it said in the interview in their game 1 was that they have faced each other in every single vanilla version of this game. Jeez, we thought that B was good, man.
That's a horrible B.
What? What did we just see here, Mini Moldorm game? Okay. Yeah. So we have some surprisingly super fast, strong Dark World access already. Since you did pick up that Moon Pearl in Escape or in Sanctuary.
Alrighty, Shady Force and Eriror now both heading over here, which would give us pause to believe that we are going to be checking to see what we have inside of the Ice Rod Cave. We do see Eriror checking the map at this stage, and he's checking to see what we have for our stun prize, and it's an unimpressive single rupee.
Maybe, you know, the game is just trying to make this more NMG as possible. You know, give these runners, you know, some more comfort into what they're doing.
Didn't these two meet in the NMG tournament?
They did. In fact, they played each other very early on in group stages. In addition to, like, apparently every other ALTTP tournament, like NMG, RMG, like, basically if there was a tournament that involved the vanilla game somehow, like, they faced each other.
Didn't Eriror win the NMG tournament?
Yeah, he did. Pretty impressive, don't you think?
I would assume so. I mean, we did see Shady Force cut that corner where Eriror didn't by going only to that darker rock that you need the Titan's Mitt to lift, as opposed to Eriror going around the long way. But at the back 3, we find the map. Yay. Bow! Ooh. That's even better. And 3 bombs, which they're probably going, like, can I have this before I get to these 3? Exactly. But hey, there we go.
Didn't even check to see. You didn't even kill any more rest to even see like what the price pack was. Because I think even on Shady's side, the rest didn't drop anything, right? The first time around, so we don't even know what the price pack was.
I saw the heart and then a fairy or a fairy and a heart or something like that. But either way, that apparently became enough of a judgment that they were on that heart group as opposed to the good group that gives you everything. All right, so shadyforce is going to be checking the eastern area, whereas Eriror is going to be going into the dark world via the Village of Outcast portal. So we have ourselves a little bit of a divergence right this stage. And so the next question is what is going to be our layout of dungeons? Hey, we find that both Fire Rod dungeons, the Turtle Rock and Skullwoods, are our other two pendants.
Interesting. Okay. So meanwhile, it looks like Shady decided to open up Sahashala's 3 chests in the back. Unfortunately, just getting a couple extra resources. But you know, with that bow, we are going to yes. Rick, what's up?
I don't think you can really call that single arrow much of a resource.
That's true. It is a unique item.
It is a unique item indeed, and so too is that what Eriror picked up out of that chess game, the mirror there.
Oh, alright, so that is a really nice find, especially the fact that Eri actually is in the Dark World. Looks like he is actually going to opt to dip into Crystal Skullwood, Thieves Town. No hammer in sight. This could just be a play to do the first floor and then mirror out with that newfound mirror that he just got. Also could be a play and gamble that the big chest either contains a small key, which is locking itself, or a dungeon item that we're not going to care about.
Well, so far it's got a compass, or the first floor has a compass, the big key, a red rupee, and now we're going to wait to see what we have number 4, or wait, I guess I got that incorrect, because shadyforce got the big key in the first chest of Eastern Palace. Yeah, I know exactly what I'm talking about in this race.
I mean,
okay, so we're 2 chests down for Eriror.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, both dungeons are pretty clean, right?
Yes. And so we get ourselves the 10 bomb pack. Eriror says, nope, I'm not going to go through this any further. And for good reason. I mean, first of all, look at his magic. He's got very little of a way to kill blind.
You bring up a very excellent point. And Thieves Town is not really known for restocking your magic supply here. Shady had a really nice stealth poster. You know, we do promise that there were enemies in that room. He didn't just, you know, fire arrows and make dust appear.
That's what I thought shadyforce just did.
Yeah, these guys are so fast. No wonder they're both in the top 16 at this point. And one of them is going to go on to top 8. Alright, so Shady is going to opt to not gamble away the... Actually, I guess I don't remember if we saw both dungeon items here already, but he is going to go to the vanilla Bicky chest. Okay. So, yeah, so we're definitely... Of course, you know, like the fact that, you know, we can't actually see anything as viewers, shadyforce is very confident he's going to be able to get through these rooms.
Yeah, but we already heard that he's got the key out of this room, so now it's just to get through this, and he will be fine. So, this is a very interesting part of this bracket. Sure, first sword. There's the first sword for Eriror. So this is a very interesting part of this bracket. The winner of this will get the winner of the Obscure Lifeform Jet side of the bracket. So, yeah, that should be a lot of fun.
Those sound like super easy opponents, Rick. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your definition of easy might vary as well.
I mean, you could get Dante, you could get Blaine.
Okay.
You could get Ninban, you could get either Zelga or Alazun.
Those, you know, I don't think you've listed a single name that I would be comfortable facing.
Gamachu, Lin, Azazus, Top Life.
Yeah, that's probably a reason why we're so far into the bracket. I mean, everyone is just so good.
Alright, so shadyforce is having a little bit of an issue. He's going to go ahead and reset, grab some extra life, and then try this all over again. Which is the safe and good thing to do here. You don't really want to take a death at this point, given how much time you've invested into doing this.
Yeah, of course, we know that in order to logically, complete Eastern Palace, we do need a fire source, especially for this room, which is either going to be the lamp or the fire run or a light a torch. But of course, these runners have done this dark room, so many times already. Not being able to see what's going on in this room is certainly not going to stop them from getting to the back.
As you can see, shadyforce has pulled it off, and we find our first shield, which Eriror says, "No, I have absolutely no use for you." shadyforce making his way over towards the Armos Knights to take care of our first boss of this game. Haven't seen anything of importance inside this Eastern, so the question is, where's our next piece of progression?
Yeah, some really nice bow maneuvering there on the double readies room in order to kill the 6 popos. It's of course setting up for the quick kill.
And nothing is inside of Eastern completion of the dungeon. However, I'm sure shadyforce was hoping to get a little bit more out of that, given that bow's placement. And Eriror getting absolutely nothing out of the breastsmith chain either.
Yeah, looks like, we do have an early book, so Eri actually making his way after turning in the purple chest is going to check Bombo's tablet for us. So we can't actually get the item because we do need another sword, but in this case, we don't even have to go through the Bombo's medallion animation. We can just read what's on there, and then we don't have to come back for that piece of art.
Yeah,
saving time.
Yeah, there's absolutely no need for that, as now shadyforce is going to be making his way to the Dark World as well. Now, here we go. This is going to be the final stop for Eriror, unless he finds something inside of this chest, or rather these 5 locations. We used to call it Hype Cave because of how good this place used to be back in 2017 in the first tournament. Well...
Oh, wow. Is that where the name came from?
Yep, that was the origins back when version 18 gave you something good. Okay, well that's not bad, but it's not necessarily something we need. And shadyforce remembers he doesn't have a hammer, and nothing inside of that. Yeah. I mean, a bug catching net is about a grade C at best. Everything else is There we go.
Yeah, and given that Eri already has a fairy in a bottle, I don't think we're going to necessarily need that bug net just quite yet.
So, there's a problem with what Eriror is about to do.
What is that, Rick?
Oh, he's going to try to do deletion here. Okay, there we go.
Fast.
Perfectly done.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now he just got to make sure he doesn't get hit trying to get over there.
Oh, man. Oh, no!
Doesn't get there.
Oh, that is unfortunate. So, those of you who might have seen some, fake flippering before, and we have certainly warned a lot of runners to not get hit during fake flippers because you'll die.
And there goes the fairy.
Oh man, is he gonna respawn in the water? Oh, nice.
Yes.
Doesn't actually have to go back. Yeah, so if you actually fake flipper and they get hit on the same screen, you actually don't die. You actually just go back to where you started your fake flipper. But in this case, it's so nice. He can actually get through the other side.
All right, so now Eriror is going to head on over here, and I would have to assume he's going to mirror and check Sahasrahla, which is going to get those lack of good items from the back of Sahasrahla's hut there, and shadyforce is waiting to get grabbed back to start.
Yeah, this is actually going to be another difference here between Eri and Shady, because Eri ended up picking up the mirror from Village of Outcasts, so he is actually going to have a nicer time in pod as well, just because he can just route this dungeon a little bit better.
Yeah, and the fact that he's going to be able to double up here is going to give him a little bit of an exploration advantage over shadyforce, who will get that mirror in due time. However, it's just... We don't know what this seed wants these runners to do at this point.
Yeah, I mean, so the book does give you access into desert, but right now it's not much of an appealing, place to be, because you got to walk all the way over there, and then of course desert can also be boost locked. So you really could actually just spend all your time getting over there, for potentially just one item, and not even necessarily a guaranteed item, right? It could also be a dungeon item as well.
All right, so Eriror's going to go ahead and do the Eastern Palace play first, which makes sense in Eriror's case. If he finds the hammer, that means he can double up that and the Palace of Darkness. We know he's not going to find the hammer there, but he doesn't know that. So Shady Force is going to be checking here. Bumper Ledge has 20 rupees, and he doesn't have the mirror, so this kind of now puts Graveyard Ledge as an orphanated location here for Shady Force. Orphaned is what I mean to say.
I actually really appreciated orphanated because I think that sounded like a really cool word.
You know, I have a way of making nonsense words making sense, but hey, we can if we can coin a term here on SpeedGaming, we'll do our damnedest to do it.
Yeah.
At least I realized my mistake before all the chat got on me about it.
Oh no. Chat is super nice. So chat would never make fun of you, Rick. Don't worry.
I've seen many cases over the course of doing commentary here on SpeedGaming where that's not the truth, but thank you though.
You know, just a reminder. Remember that you have a sword, Rick, which is more than what chat potentially has. And also, unfortunately, it's more than what Shady has as well.
Well, Shady Force, once he gets to the Ding game, and that looks like that's where the next stop is going to be, he will have that sword. As Eriror goes to this Eastern Palace.
Yeah, and I imagine after Shady does dig up his sword, he will probably do something similar to what Eri did and pick up the Smith and turn that in, because he did end up picking up his mirror as well. We did see that he did not end up dipping, looks like, the first four, or at least the first four chests of Thieves Town, so potentially he would like to come back later on, potentially with the hammer. Or he's kind of run out of good options, and Barry still doesn't have the hammer. That's where he's going to go and hope the hammer is not going to end up making a difference in Thieves Town.
I'm not even going to acknowledge what chat's talking about at this point in time.
Alright, so it looks like Eri, okay, so Eri, and Shady taking advantage of their energy, muscle memory, or execution, getting through the vanilla big key chest, very, very quickly, taking the damage off the Popos, using the iframes in order to hit the switch, so they don't have to kill everything in that pretty tedious kill room.
Hey, Clear Mouse.
Yes, Rick, what's up?
Where did we get that mushroom from?
We got that mushroom from the back of Escape.
The
early Escape.
Right. I'm always concerned about a very early mushroom that shows up like that.
Oh, yeah.
I always have a feeling that mushroom leads to something.
Early mushrooms, and you are absolutely correct, are very suspicious. We would like, of course, to have a flute. That would be, very convenient, and probably also would remind our runners potentially that, hey, look, we can quickly go turn that mushroom and see what happens. Alright, well, yeah, Shady would also see a little bit different. Aries going to be able to use his muscle memory with that sword, unlike Shady Force, in order to quickly clear out Eastern Palace. Hopefully we're going to see a pretty cool quick kill Armos on Aries' side as well.
And speaking of other things, I've been told that I've had a very... Oh, that's a nice kill.
Oh yeah, that is a Yuzu Armos kill. Ari has been practicing that for quite some time now. It was super, super cool to see when it's done correctly.
And that proves the skills that Eriror has in the base game of this. Because obviously when you do a whole bunch of NMG, guess what dungeon you do a whole lot of?
Yeah, you become really adept at using that bow.
Alright, so here we go through the Palace of Darkness. Now, this is going to be really bad news for Shady Force if the hammer turns out to be here. And the real sad thing is that the fact that hammer could very well be here if it turns out to be in one of the first few chests. We do find the Ether coin immediately, so this is an immediate bow block dungeon, which kind of also makes me curious.
Yeah, and the fact that the boat just show up in the back escape.
Alrighty, so now again we're going to be finding at least 4 small keys through here, and shadyforce has decided that he's going to be continuing through this thieves' town. So if he finds something good here that Eriror did not find, then that makes things a little interesting, considering the fact that Eriror did the first 4 and abandoned this dungeon.
Yeah, and we certainly do see, difference in mentality, right? So one of the reasons why Ari potentially was a bit more hesitant to come back to do the backup Thieves' Town was that he visited Thieves' Town very early. Shady, of course, ended up actually clearing out all Eastern Palace before here, so he has probably a bit more incentive to kind of see what's back here because he has fewer options remaining after
exactly.
this.
So we now know that the remaining checks of this first section of Palace of Darkness is going to be small keys, because we have now found our 2 non-keys. As Eriror is making his way through, I still think we've got something over at the mushroom.
Yeah, so we do have a couple Sphere 1 checks left, right? Or maybe, I don't know, because it has to be Sphere 2 for the mushroom. But yeah, we have the mushroom turn in. We do have a Gina that lots of people don't like to go visit.
Why don't people like to visit it?
It's something about they just don't want to walk all the way over there, I think. Or maybe, we're all just, we don't really want to talk to anybody either.
I mean, they could be like Fred and throw bombs at it, but not everyone wants to be like Fred either.
Yeah, if only we had some sort of movement. How many items have we seen? So okay, so we don't have the map yet.
There's a chance of a map or the final item on blind, and you're hoping in this case that you find item number 4 here on blind.
Yeah, so 50-50 shot at this point. We're gonna at least hope for shadyforce's sake that we are going to find the last item on blind.
As we see Eriror going through the dark maze. Nice use of the bow to take care of these things.
Oh man, yeah, so much light though, so much fire.
So many pieces of heart too.
One thing we can't complain about the scene is certainly very healthy. Right, these guys are almost on, 9 hearts at this point?
Yeah. Alright, blind is down for shadyforce and magic powder, which is in logic. Magic bat is in logic at this point.
Yeah, and not only that, we get our last item, so Shady coming in here without the hammer is certainly not going to have to worry about what he potentially could have left behind here in Thieves' Town.
Meanwhile, Eriror did not find anything inside of that Palace of Darkness, and shadyforce immediately heading on over. He wants to see if this turned out to be a good idea by checking to see what the magic bat has. As he will grab this purple chest. We know that purple chest has nothing, but he will. He's going to have to go a little further over if he's going to check magic bat, and
is he doing
okay? He's got that. Oh my
that
goodness.
Was close. Holy cow.
He lost that portal.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not even going to check it.
Looks like he doesn't want to abandon his portal, so maybe he wants to walk his way down to Cave 45, because once you abandon your portal and turn in the purple chest, that location's going to be pretty hard to go back to.
Oh!
Hi! Hello, Master Sword! That is a really nice find on Aries' side. We have definitely upgraded our sword, but something much, much nicer.
Answering a question in chat, all 4 items have been found. Instead of Thieves' Town, there is a map in the big chest.
Alright, Ari, it looks like we're going to potentially combine our fish checks here. Oh, and the mushroom pan! This is some great routing on Ari's side. Really convenient and efficient.
Now we can finally find out what this item that we've been leaving behind. Oh, I guess we're gonna have to use the mirror now because we stepped off the bush. Anyways, Eriror now is gonna find out what we get for the mirror, and rather the mushroom leads to not what I was expecting.
at least we got some peace of mind, and Eri was unfortunately he didn't quite get the mirror bomb or the bush bomb back over to the light pearl, but we've got another item yet checked off.
For sure. So now we're gonna go ahead and check to see what we have at Catfish. We're probably going to perform another one of those auxiliary deletion tricks in order to find out what we have inside of the waterfall cave. And
Eri.
I always think that that's going to miss, but he knows a whole lot more about hitboxes than I do in this game.
Oh yeah, so Eri is very familiar with, I guess it's called Quick Fish from NMG. Yeah, so hitboxes, actually, it turns out it's a box. It's not as circly as you might expect. It is actually pretty precise because, of course, wow, dude, what a fight on Sora's Ledge. Good thing Eri has enough resources. I think, man, I don't know if Armo's kills is gonna affect anything here, but hopefully he's
All right, yes. And that's a good point there, because the Armos Knights do something to your ability to set up those ancillary deletions.
Yeah, but so I think maybe you can just drop a bunch more bombs, or maybe I think they have the land. They could just they could just spam it and be okay. Yeah, you see Eri basically trying to reset this this incel variable so he can actually do Splash Elite for real. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, unfortunate.
So
man,
now
those boots are so tempting. Okay, so we definitely need those flippers. So footwear leads to more footwear these days.
Meanwhile, Shady Force is going to be doing the sequence break. I don't need the lamp to go up to Death Mountain. I'm just going to head up there now myself. Which very well may be where the seed wants these two to go. Now that we know that Zora had the lamp. Mm-hmm. And that Zora is in logic because of the fact that we had those gloves.
Yeah, we found both gloves back to back in succession in Mini Molten Cave. So Eri, of course, it looks like he's going to follow up Shady Force, but of course the main difference is that he knows this is not going to be a sequence break. And he's going to be able to see in this dark cave when he's rescuing the old man.
Alright, so Shady Force first up with the old man.
Oh no,
and gets blocked in by a dead rock right in the corner pocket. Which is giving Eriror a chance to figure out what this item is first. 20 rupees, the reward.
There is like nothing that can help you with dead rocks. And Shady does need to be a bit careful on Death Mountain. I think he does have a fairy in a bottle that he picked up from Pipe Cave, but this isn't really a place that we want to use them in.
Yeah, and Eriror does not have that fairy in a bottle at this point, having used it while doing his fake flippers just a little bit ago, as he's now up here on the mountain. As we do see Shady Force going into Spectacle Rock, that's blue, but it's not the flippers we are looking for. But you know about that amazing thing with that lamp?
Oh. You make a very good reminder, Rick. So this is one difference.
What is it I'm going to be mentioning?
It would be something related to Arrow.
Oh my goodness!
Oh man, poor Shady.
Yeah.
Dead rocks are not being kind to him. But yeah, so when we go into the Tower of Hera, do you think there's going to be a part?
Ooh. All right. Well, we're about to get the magic cape here from this tablet that Eriror just picked up.
Yeah, so we're sort of going to hope that nothing of value is going to be in the basement, or this actually potentially even could stop Shady from even climbing up if the big key is in the basement.
Never mind. Oh, there goes the fairy for Shady Force.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. I was thinking, like, well, this is going to be a death ward back, he'll regain some of his health, and he'll just come back here again, but nope. At least he has the bug net if he wants another fairy.
Yeah, for sure. Alright, so we get the map there, and so we're going to be climbing up here, but what is upstairs? Or what is downstairs? I think that might be the bigger question, because if there is something that is downstairs in the basement, Shady can't get it. Eriror can. And
really,
we're starting to run out of locations where things can be. Of course, nobody's touched that desert where there's the potential of up to 4 items that we can get at this point.
yeah. And really, for the things left on the mountain, right? They don't have a hook shot or a hammer in order to get to the east side. So I guess I'm kind of curious to see what they would like to do after this. Oh no!
And there is an item downstairs.
Can we get the first seed back? I think I like that one better from what I saw in the first 10 minutes.
You're not enjoying this?
I mean, from a commentator's perspective, this looks pretty interesting, but maybe not from a runner's perspective.
Alrighty, here we go. Moldorm coming up here for Eriror. Shadyforce decided to take the vanilla way down to the big chest. And there's 2 swings for Eriror. That's 3, and Moldorm is down. Now, do we get something here? No, that's 20 rupees. Question is what's downstairs?
Yeah, and we actually always can see a slightly different fight. So this is going to be on Shady's side with the fighter sword, much more NMG-esque, although it's probably even more of a disadvantage because it doesn't have the boost in order to kind of dash his way through to make things a bit more consistent. Doing a really good job so far. The first couple of phases. Super nice fight. Looks like Eri is going to take that lamp. Go claim the last item here in Hera Basement.
If this is the hookshot or hammer, this is really bad news for Shadyforce, who, by the way, I do realize I've been told through various means that the way I was saying Shadyforce kind of a little too fast was coming out a little interesting.
Wait, really? What? Really?
We're just going to leave it at that.
Okay, alright. I don't think I've ever heard that from you, Rick. So that is definitely news to me.
Alright, so Eriror now, this is where we're going to be keeping a big eye on to see what we're going to get. Now, Shadyforce is about to drop, or he's going to try to drop into the water. And no, there's nothing good down here. Okay, so where we need to go?
Did you say something about desert, Rick?
I did say something about desert. Is
that where we're going? After 40-some minutes in, we're going back to some Sphere 1 locations?
Yeah, sure, okay.
Oh, actually, well, so we don't have the boots yet, but we did pick up a cape, and we did pick up a Master Sword on Aries' side, and we don't have a check on the Lumberjack yet.
But it's not in logic. You wanna know why it's not in logic?
Oh, we don't have that,
because that Master Sword that Eriror picked up was on the Pyramid Ledge. Which means that he would have to find a second sword somewhere else in order to put that in logic.
But we do have the cape, right? From the lamp?
And remember how we had to get that cape? We needed 2 swords to get that.
Right! You're right! It was on a tablet! Yeah! Oh, wow. Oh, right. So there's also, looks like Shady's giving us a couple more checks here. Unseen, also out of logic because we don't have the flippers, but we have not seen what's here behind Waterfall Fairy.
Alrighty, we find ourselves a piece of heart and 50 rupees.
Yeah.
And the bottle that gets returned to Shadyforce is a red potion.
Okay, so I mean that's a pretty nice safety. Shady is going to pick up his fire source, which is the lamp from Sora. I am curious to see if he is also going to make his attempt at Splash Station in order to pick up those coveted boots that we just see on Sora's ledge.
I think he makes one attempt at it. He sees it there, and he makes an attempt. So, 5 rupees there at Graveyard Ledge as Shadyforce gets the lamp. And he is, as I mentioned, going to at least make an attempt here, although he needs to get it back onto dry land in order to do this. There we go. All right, so he's going to make an attempt to at least get down here and see if he can't claim those boots. Now remember, Eriror was unable and unsuccessful at doing this, and now Eriror is now going back into Thieves Town. So he will have that magic powder before too long. All right, attempt number 2.
Yeah, I think maybe Shady has remembered that he needs to potentially clear out that Ancilla variable before trying this again. So the fact that Eri is in Thieves Town now,
no, he can't get it either.
Yeah.
Both of these failed.
We're gonna have to get those boosts the old-fashioned way, which is, you know, staying in logic and going to hopefully get those flippers. Of course, you know, flippers are hard required this team. We do see that Small Palace is a crystal, so we are gonna have to. So those flippers have to show up eventually.
All right, in our continuing quest for these two to put off going into desert as long as possible, shadyforce is now going to do the mushroom check, which we saw from Eriror a little bit ago.
Yeah, I mean, but I think they have more incentive to put off desert potentially because, you know, they saw the boots, right? And they know if they find the flippers and if they can get the boots, then desert will be so much nicer. But of course, you know, the game may not care, right? The game could just put flippers in desert, and then you have to go all the way back in order to get the boots.
No, you know what I'm thinking?
What are you thinking, Eric?
I'm thinking we're gonna get the hammer, which is gonna give us the hook shot. And then on Dark Death Mountain, we're gonna get the flippers finally.
Oh man. That's
why not?
That's quite the chain. That's quite the chain.
This game doesn't really care about whether or not these two are happy with their life choices. Anyways, I think shadyforce is finally going to make the way over to Desert Palace while Eriror continues on through this Thieves Town. Now, don't forget, here in the 46-minute mark of this race, this is game number 2 between these two in the 3rd round of this tournament. shadyforce has a 1-game lead up on Eriror. If shadyforce wins this one, he faces either Jet or Obscure Life Form in the quarterfinals. Eriror needs this to stay alive. What are we checking?
We're checking a location that I guess apparently some people like to bomb this place.
Well, I mean, you do need to bomb this place. It's the only way to get to the chest.
Yeah, good thing Shady still has a couple more bombs left after his Ancilla deletion.
Okay, now that means that that means that access to Aga,
yeah.
that Aga is now in logic. And we don't know what's at Lumberjack.
Man.
But even if we knew what was at Lumberjack, we still can't get it without those boots, and those boots still remain over there on the island.
Alright, nothing on Desert Ledge. At least nothing worth picking up, so we've got one more. Well, we've got a couple more potential items here in Desert Palace, depending if it's boost locked or not.
Alrighty, so now here we go. Pendant Desert. Green Pendant Desert. Which also does open up the possibility if this dungeon is beatable, that Sahashala could have something.
Alright, moment of truth. Is this boost locked?
Nope.
No. Oh yeah, Eri! That's right. Just having picked up the powder, and he's already done purple chest, so he is gonna have no qualms about giving up his portal. What do we have here?
This dungeon is beatable.
Oh, that is huge for Eri. He just found the flute off of Magic Bat, so we're going straight back into Kakariko and activating that. Eri now has full access to the minor area, so he's actually going to be able to double up here potentially.
And shadyforce has now orphaned that square That could be huge here for Eri, trying to get himself back into this best-of-3 series.
Yeah. So if Shady does find the hammer that's you know, maybe somewhere close by, he could potentially go back because he does still have hammer bags. that is not an item that you want to see right now.
Why?
I hear it's not convenient to get to that spot.
It's just a few feet away from Link's house.
Oh, right. Alright, so it looks like that Shady is going to opt to go to the back of Desert and potentially take down Lamolas. Not a super great weapon to his arsenal, but we do have the bow and 30 arrows and a very, very experienced NMG runner. So this potentially could be quite the treat for us.
And we have Ethers, our medallion needed to get into Misery Mire, but we can't get in there right now.
Unfortunately, no boots for Desert, so we can't actually do some of the faster strats that these guys are probably used to from their NMG runs. Eri looks like, though, in a very similar situation, so he's probably going to do something very similar to Shady. Going to clear out the rest of Desert, going to pick up his shovel, and then make his way also onto Lambo. Alright, you got any predictions? If we're going to see a bow Lambo, how many arrows we're going to have left at the end of the fight? This is always really exciting, in my opinion.
3.
3! Alright, here we go! Cycle 1. That's actually pretty good first cycle.
Yeah, that's
they don't have boots to kind of, you know, get themselves set up in the right location.
That was a really solid first round there for Shadyforce. And yeah, he's gonna have a whole lot more than 3. Multiply that by 4. Green pen to pick up here for Shadyforce, and it looks like Eriror has decided that I'm done with this Desert Palace for now. But there's 3 more locations Eriror can check, 2 of them being here in Myers Shed. Piece of heart and 50 rupees. Nothing that we need to see in this current stage. And Shady thinking. Resetting. Starting at home. Okay. And checkerboard check here for Eriror turns out to be... Oh, it's a hard reset for the Ancilla, right. Okay. Thank you very much to our knowledgeable people that are watching here. And it looks like that's exactly what Shadyforce is getting ready to do. And now Eriror is going to be facing off against the Lambo.
Yeah. So it looks like Shadyforce is very conscious of the fact that he does not have any bombs left. I'm sorry, 1 bomb left. Luckily, it's a very convenient shot. We'll just put him right back into 10.
There we go.
Nice. He can now actually go back. And where are we actually going? We're going to go back and try and get the boots again?
Yeah, that's the main point of this. You want those boots. You want to be able to run fast.
We
Don't
need to
die
survive.
to the crabs, though.
Yeah, we need to survive first. We're going to get there first. Alright,
Okay,
Eri.
so how many... Okay, you asked me about Shadyforce. I'm going to ask you about Eriror. How many arrows is he going to leave with?
I'm gonna guess, so my normal guess is 14. Eri is probably one of the most experienced people running into bow ammo here from NMG.
I mean, he's what, 3rd right now in NMG?
Something like that, yeah. He has a low 123 time.
Yeah.
You don't get that from not understanding how to kill Lambo with the bow.
But there's one other thing.
What's that, Rick?
He's the world record holder for the Master Sword category, which is pretty much just do the Light World dungeons.
That's true. That's true. Oh man, he was so close to that second cycle. He just missed off. Looks like 1 arrow, man.
And
15.
you were up by 1 arrow too.
Dude, yeah, Eri's so good.
And Shady's got.
Oh my gosh, no, Shady. He was so close. He like got down there and then. I guess I'm actually not sure what's happening because it looked like he was able to get to swim down and drop down, but he couldn't actually keep his equipper state.
He got it that time.
Wow, that was like his last attempt too.
So at least we were getting told that his arrows were deleting. He wasn't close enough to the wall, so they were deleting by the time he jumped down to that second part of the water. So therefore it said, nope, you don't have flippers. You're done. Bye.
See. Alright, well, luckily for Shady, I mean, at 50-some minutes, he got a sequence broken boots, so he can definitely move fast now. Oh,
and the first stop is going to be our boot block locations, King's Tomb and the Bonk Rocks.
Yeah, and it looks like Eri was actually ready to probably flute away to somewhere else, but then remembering that he still has one more location here in the desert area.
So we know that here we're not going to see the flippers at all, but maybe this is one of those cruel seeds where the flippers lead to the boots that lead to the hammer. There's the tempered sword for Eriror. Again, we can't get into Misery Mire at this point if you're Eriror. You do have the medallion, but you don't have a hookshot or boots to get you past that first jump.
Eri picking up his, looks like he's got his shovel axe, so he's going to cash it immediately on his findings from Desert Palace. Presumably he'll turn in the green pendant after this, if this doesn't lead to anything.
Alrighty. Oh my god! There's the flippers!
Dude, what an adventure the seed has gotten us on. So, okay, so we're supposed to take that book and go into desert without boots, get our shovel, which leads to flippers, and guess where Eri is going? He is beelining it over to the Zora area again, and he's gonna have a significantly easier time picking up those boots than she did.
Looks like Shadyforce is lining himself up to do a little bit of dash over the water to get over towards the catfish area, which unfortunately for Shadyforce, we know where he needs to go. That's not the direction he needs to go. He needs to get that flute, but for him, this is one of those options that he's going to go towards.
Yeah, and you know, and given how much they tried to Edsilla delete and Fake Flipper, you know, he probably doesn't want to spend more resources trying to do like a current jump over or something. And he just picked up the boots, right? He can set up a water walk. Yep. This is much easier and faster to get over here. Eri, he can taste these boots going over there as fast as he possibly can.
And little did Shadyforce know that he had the logical way to get those flippers with a little thing called a shovel, which he is still going to need to use at some point in time because we do need to get into Swamp Palace.
Shady, we do see something also very common for NFG runners, bonking off that right ledge in order to potentially get a quick warp setup if you want to warp over back to the Light Worlds.
He's gonna have to be careful not to get bonked too many times, otherwise he'll get a quick warp back to something else.
Yeah, staying alive on Shady's side is certainly within his best interest. He does not have a fairy, in this case, to help him out anymore. He's on the red potion. Oh, jeez. So, Ropas are not friendly. If you get lottery, we just saw exactly what would happen, and Shady would just lose 2 hearts for no reason.
Alrighty, so Shadyforce now going to be getting that tempered sword, which was the master sword for Eriror on this pyramid ledge. So at least now we'll be both together with 3 swords together. It's just, you know, at least we can do the same combat with each other.
Yeah.
But so here's the big question at this point. We need either the fire rod or the bombos for Ice Palace. We still need the hookshot. We still need the hammer. This is a weird place to be at 58 minutes in, as Eriror checks Lumberjack. And it's just a bottle.
Yeah, probably not going to be worth the time in order to go kill Agnem for that 3rd bottle that they probably don't use for. So it looks like though Shady is going back into the pod area. No hammer, unfortunately. You know, like 40-some minutes in later.
Aww. So Hasrullah has just a little love for these two.
We did get to see two really great NMG bow lambos though for our troubles.
For certain. They both did a pretty good job, and then shadyforce almost dashed off without getting Kiki because he was still in that little bit of invincibility state coming back into the Dark World. So now we do have access to Misery Mire, which Eriror is going to be going into. It's a dungeon that we can beat now that we have the boots.
We have the boots into entry, we have Ether Medallion to get in, and we have the Can of Samaria to get to the back. And we both have the lamp, so we don't have even to do any dark rooms in the basements. The fact that Eri and Shady now both have Temper Sword and they have boots, this is going to be very, I would say, comfortable for them in terms of just execution.
So we got ourselves the Ether Medallion right there for shadyforce, so now he can get into Misery Mire if he wants to get Boku over there once he gets the flute. But the problem is where that flute is.
Yeah.
You mentioned...
Because it's going to be very unlikely that shadyforce is going to go back to that location without finding the hammer.
Yeah, which means if we find the hammer over here with Eriror, that's not necessarily a good thing here for shadyforce at all.
Oh no, Shady only had 4 arrows, couldn't do fast mimics. Speaking of fast though, Eri also used the bow in Mire 2 with a combination of his boots and sword beams. A very, very fast, clear kill from this ball.
Oh my goodness, that's a hook shot!
Yeah, this flute is really just leading to more and more things.
If you're hoping for a game 3 for both of these opponents, hey, that might be a piece of that puzzle right there for Eriror to get this in the best of 3, but we'll see. There's still a lot more of this race left. I don't know, Clear Mouse. I mean, we mentioned about shadyforce here needing to get to Magic Bat for the flute. But the bigger thing is the fact that the shovel leads to the flippers. There's 2 major components to this seed that are right now in lone locations.
Yeah, and unfortunately, right, these are pretty far away, from each other, right? They're just kind of like one-off checks. So Shady is doing something that's very reasonable, right? He's coming into COD, and he can get, potentially, all 5 items, right? Just depending on the layout. So this is a very, dense location for him in order to pick up something good. Just happens to be because we've kind of seen what Aries already done. Unfortunately, the items he's looking for, at least initially, are not going to be in here.
However, I do want to point out if there is going to be a runner who is going to come back. If there's going to be a runner who comes back, shadyforce has already proven it in this tournament, coming back from several dungeons down in round number 2 against wall kicks.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Everyone's so good in this tournament at this point. Looks like, speaking of good, Shady setting up hammering up with minimal buffers. Pretty nicely done.
So, I mean, anything can happen in regards to this match. This one isn't done and over with, but I think Eriror right now has the upper hand based on the fact that he's got 2 pieces of this knowledge, now 3 pieces of this knowledge that shadyforce is going to need to put together at some point in this run.
Alright, Eri coming up to his very NMG-esque Vitreous fight. Looks pretty standard textbook so far. Yeah, super
yeah,
nice. Wow.
Thankfully he didn't get hit by the eyeball there at the end with a 4 heart damage. So shadyforce is done with the trip into the Palace of Darkness. Eriror now claims crystal number 4 here. And now that unlocks a Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, you're right. We did clear. Actually, so Mire is one of Viscous crystals. Which one's our other one?
Alrighty, shadyforce is about to pick up those flippers that will put the boots that he has in Logic. And Eriror is going to be fluting away, and I think Eriror just got the 1 item based on what people are saying.
Yeah,
but that hookshot unlocks so much at this point that I can understand this gamble.
Yeah, so Eri picked up the hookshot in the bridge arena ledge chest early on, and then found the big key in, I think, Compass room. So he just went straight to the boss. And yeah, as you said, Rick, right? We picked up the hookshot. This unlocks pretty much like the entirety of Light Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain. I mean, there are like teens of checks at this point for Eri. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of checks here, and here's a check we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Bobo.
we got so excited about having all this Dark Mountain, Death Mountain access that we do see Shady checking up on another location that is actually in logic now with those bookers.
And that's the Bombos!
Ooh.
That's access into Ice Palace!
Yeah, is that where Shady's going? Because... Okay, is this like Treasury Mountain? Like, we picked up so much cash. It was like 950?
950 rupees, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, now Shadyforce looks like he's heading for Ice Palace. Now he's going to be going in here without the hammer, so this could get interesting.
Yeah, no hammer, no hook shots. But he does have the Cane of Samaria, so we can do Icebreaker and at least, get us pretty far into the dungeon.
Icebreaker really depends on one major thing, is whether or not you get that small key early. Because you could find yourself locked in with that one chest if you don't get a small key.
Mm-hmm. Alright, Super Bunny, unfortunately, giving Eri the shield that he worked so hard to avoid from K45 earlier.
Alright, Hookshot K for Eriror finds a piece of heart. There's the big key for Shadyforce. Nothing.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah, this was like Paltry Cave, as opposed to compared to what we found in Paradox Cave, which was just rifle cash.
Now, what's on the island? Another set of rupees. Alright, so it looks like Shadyforce is going for this move over here. Now, he's hoping to find a small key, otherwise he's locked in. And luckily, he does find a small key, so he can break free and move to the other side. There's our fourth bottle.
Yeah, and I think Eri, he does have access to Spike Cave with those.
No, he doesn't.
Oh no, he does not. He still doesn't have the hammer. That's right. He still can't get it. Well, maybe late hammer at least can block us out of a couple things.
Shadyforce about to head on downstairs. Gonna check the iced tea room first as Eriror is about to pick up that Bombos.
So I guess with this Bombos pickup, I'm curious to see if Eri decides to also decide to make his way into Ice Palace. We are watching Shadyforce make a significant progress, at least in here.
50 rupees is the first of the items inside of this dungeon. So there's the Bombos for Eriror. Now, Eriror did not check the requirements to get into Turtle Rock. And you want to know why he didn't check the requirements to get into Turtle Rock?
Is it because he doesn't want to know?
Because very unlikely we're going to have to go in there at this point. Very unlikely we're going to have to go in there at this point. Like, the pedestal is dead, and so too is really anything that you'd want to go into Turtle Rock for. If you want to say that we had a requirement inside of that dungeon, it would be for the fire rod, and well, these runners are skilled enough to do that right-hand side without the fire rod. Yeah. Hammer inside the big chest of ice!
Wow. Well, it's probably not the worst location for the hammer, but it is a really big find. Finally, we can actually go and do some things here.
Clear mouse, that's no mode for us.
Yeah.
And the fact that Eriror is here means that he will be getting that soon, so the big question is, does Shadyforce check that magic powder now? He has to check that magic powder now, otherwise Eriror's going to have this race.
Man, I certainly hope that Shady goes and checks hammer pegs and goes and checks match.
Uh-oh,
Jeez. Shady,
don't do that,
please
Shady.
stay alive.
There we go.
Yeah,
Just gotta stay away from the ice. One more hit. There we go.
Nice.
Good.
Whew. Yep. So green mail does not offer very much protection, unfortunately, against really anything. Falling ice does 2 hearts of damage, and cold stare touches, as we saw, do 4 hearts. So Shady definitely could not take another hit at that point, and he does not have I think any more safeties because he ended up using his red potion in the overworlds.
So people wondering why Eriror's not doing the icebreaker because he doesn't want to take the bad gamble. And I don't want to say bad gamble, but he does want to take the gamble that you don't get a small key over there on the right-hand side that would result in you having to mirror and do that all over again. Because if the seed wants you to get yourself over that right-hand side, it'll provide the means to do so. Now, little does Eriror know that he's about to get this hammer coming up in just a moment.
Alright, so Shady, taking a very sensible approach, of course, after picking up the hammer, he is going to finish up Palace of Darkness.
Meanwhile, at 1
hour,
hour,
crystal.
9 minutes and 55 seconds, Eriror, with that discovery, is in go mode, but he needs to get a key first before he's able to move on and go to cold stare. And he knows he's in go mode, but he needed that key first because he needs to get downstairs.
That's right. Yeah, otherwise you're gonna know that you're gonna need another small key pretty quickly.
Shadyforce is going to be finishing off with the Palace of Darkness, but everything besides what is at Helmisar has already been taken care of. So this is just a do the boss. The big problem could come into play the longer that Shadyforce puts off that magic bat. That is where the food is.
Right, and so Magic Bat and Hammer Pegs, which is hopefully the only other thing that's going to time over there in order to get there, is only, unfortunately, just 2 locations. It is, now that Shady has picked up the hammer, there are going to be other fully clearable crystal dungeons available to him, or at least, I don't want him to get into, let's say, Swamp and start full clearing that dungeon, because a full clear Swamp versus a go mode Swamp on Ares side is quite the difference.
Yeah, even if Shadyforce went into Swamp at this point, that's game over. That's game over because the fact that he's going in without the hook shot.
Oh, right, that's right. I forgot that Shady doesn't have the hook shot because we found the hook shot in Mire, which, of course, we need the flute for, which is on Magic Bat. Man.
But now we see Eriror going into the Palace of Darkness. He will finish this dungeon off, then go into Swamp.
Yeah.
Again, Shadyforce going against the Helmisar King here to finish this off as well.
Yeah.
Game 3 is tomorrow, by the way.
9 a.m. I believe also on this channel, right?
Well, I believe so. That will be the game plan, at least. But of course, we in the commentary booth can't say that this is officially done at this point. It's looking extremely possible that Eriror is going to win this race.
Yeah, and we also actually did see a little bit of difference, even getting over here into the Palace of Darkness, where the Eri was able to just flute to spot 5, hit the hammer pegs, whereas Shady unfortunately had to kind of run over here and get to the Dark World. Oh, that pesky fireball ended up kind of slowing down Shadyforce just a little bit on phase 2, but otherwise, good fight.
And the strange thing about this, Clearmouse, is the fact that Shadyforce was standing there. He mirrored to the light world, and I think either he didn't mirror in the right spot, or he just thought against it at that point, thought that the continuation of the Breadsmith chain was more valuable at that stage, but that really was the defining moment here for Shadyforce, the fact that now, as a result, that now orphans off this magic bat.
Where is Shady going?
He's got the hammer, so therefore he's got access to the right-hand side of the mountain.
Well, he's gonna be like 1,000 rupees richer, I guess, for his troubles. That's probably not what he's looking for, though. You can't buy a flute these days.
Wasn't there a Zelda game where you could buy the flute?
Potentially. There've been so many. I can't think of one off the top of my head though. Eri, not letting the sword beams get the better of him in the turtle's room, does manage to clear it, so we are moving our way on to Helmasaur. Turtle's not cooperating with Eri whatsoever.
I think shadyforce at this point I think you can see a little bit of frustration in just the way that he's moving around at this point. Like, he's not sure what he wants to do, but he doesn't like his options. Like, this is a very valuable play. It's just, this isn't a dungeon, and he's kind of... You know, you can sense it just based on the motions.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he does have options, but as you said, right, you know, if he is, he potentially could still feel, you know, a bit, there's no, like, real super clear direction, right, at this point.
Yep, exactly.
And, yeah. You know, do you want to go into the Swamp Palace with the hookshot? Of course you don't, right? Do you want to do a bunch of, like, overworld that potentially, you know, could lead to no progress? Of course you don't. And, you know, hopefully he doesn't gonna feel, you know, too bad after, right? He will be a bit richer, but probably not the thing he's
Yeah, this is here, you know, when you feel like you should be doing crystal dungeons, but the problem is you can't be doing crystal dungeons because you don't have what you need. Eriror is about to mirror here into the light world to set stuff up for Swamp Palace, and there's shadyforce getting rich.
Yeah, and of course, oh, Eri showing off some more of that execution. You know, I think he got the quick warp first time around, getting into the light world. Got the anti-fairy skip coming out of the dam. And it's going to be an extremely fast Swamp Palace clear because he is not going to stop for anything at this point.
Shadyforce having some bad luck against the Dead Rocks as well. Alright, so Eriror now making his way through this Swamp Palace. This will be a blink and you miss it type of dungeon, which means you've got about, let's see, I'm going to guess 1 minute and 53 seconds until I start asking people for numbers in chat.
Wow, 53, very, very precise. Although, you know, I would not be surprised if Arians are finishing this around that time. Okay, so we did see on shadyforce's side confirmation that we actually only need Aether today for our troubles. Of course, and Bombos in order to get into Ice Palace.
Yep. I wasn't even keeping track of what time I said that 153 prediction.
Alright, so it looks like Eri is ready to dive her down. I'm going to just pretend that the water doesn't exist. Looks like he is actually going to open up a couple extra checks. So potentially, if the fire rod is here, it is going to be, you know, make his Ganon's tower climb even more comfy and familiar. It is something that he's going to have to kind of keep in mind as he, at least certainly for the upstairs, he's not going to have the fire rod and only going to have the lamp instead.
Alright, looks like shadyforce is going inside of Turtle Rock. So we already know this won't be anything that shadyforce precisely needs, but the worst case scenario for shadyforce is that we find the fire rod here.
Yeah, yeah. So certainly, you know, for our sake and for his sake, you know, we're gonna hope that he gets locked out pretty, you know, quickly.
Hey, Eriror, I had a prediction on how long it would take for you to beat this dungeon. You're not gonna help me out by freezing at 118:03. No. Well, thankfully for shadyforce, he did get locked out.
Oh, and with the hammer, we're gonna get another check here on Spike Cave. Oh man, we just had so many technical issues today. I feel bad for these runners.
We had
but
three.
They are troopers. Yeah.
We had 3 technical difficulties. Anyways, pretend that Eriror has just finished off this Swamp Palace because we know at this point he has. And so with that, he had picked up the 7th crystal, and with that, Eriror has now gotten the access into Ganon's tower, where Clear Mouse, there are 22 possible locations where this big key can be. I want people to pick a number between 1 and 22, and I want you to pick a number between 1 and 22 as well.
Oh, me? Oh, well, I haven't actually given this much thought. I'll go with, let's say, 7.
I'm going to go with 0 because I don't know if we're going to see Eriror stream.
Frick, did you just ask me a trick question?
Well, I would have figured that Eriror was going to be back by now.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Alright, so as far as we know, I believe Eri likes his typical GT routing is he goes left to Southwest Room, and then if he doesn't find the big key on those left, he'll go right with a guaranteed small key in hand to Compass Room and then back. Oh, shadyforce! He is doing a good thing on his side, which is really going to be great to see. He is doing hammer pegs, and then presumably after this, he is going to be able to check magic that and
you better. And 20 rupees inside of that hammer peg cave, and now we will mirror and check to see what is that magic bat, so at least shadyforce will at least get this component coming up in just a moment. Eriror is on the other side of the Atlantic, where obviously the storms in Florida won't help us out in regards to knowing what's going on with Erir's internet, but we do know that at 1 hour 18:04 he was going through a door.
Happy for shadyforce. He's gonna go pick up his flute. Not quite in go mode still. We still need to go pick up our hook shot in Meyer, but with that flute, he's going to go activate it, and presumably Meyer is going to be his immediate next stop.
Alrighty, here is the introduction of the deck theme, everybody. As shadyforce thinks about what he wants to do, I think the obvious answer is what you need to do.
Yeah,
I really do think I really do think it's 0.
Well, I guess if we're going by Aries side, I don't know if we have much of a choice.
We don't have much of a choice.
Yeah.
We'll probably see his internet come back, and it'll be on frame number 1262 when he's climbing up onto the 3rd floor GT.
You know, Rick, all things considered, I'm wondering, you know, this actually could have been a rodless sea. No fire rod, no ice rod needed.
It could very well be. And something's revving in your background.
Yeah. This is the joys of living the city.
Joys, you say?
Yes. Alright, so Shady is definitely making a thorough way, make sure he doesn't really leave anything out in the overworld, potentially that could help him out in Meyer. Oh, hey!
There, of course he is. He's on the 4th floor. I was 1 floor off.
That was so fast.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you guessed chest number 0, you are today's winner.
Alright, looks like Eri, though, has not ended up finding the fire rod, so can't unfortunately use the quick kill here for Lamo.
Alrighty, shadyforce about to go into the Meyer area. There's the finish of the Lamo fight for Eriror. Apparently we're getting screenception over here on Eriror's side.
Yeah, Eri's internet connections is not going to stop him one bit in order to finish up the rest of the game quickly.
I just love the video game screen. That's where his timer is.
Yeah. it's like a screen capture inception, right? Alright, remembering that we unfortunately do not have the fire rod, so we're gonna have to light these torches with the lamp in close proximity. Making sure that he does time it correctly, waiting for that jingle, so at certainly at this stage, he does not want to despawn the rest of GT.
It's not like we ever see that happen before.
No, of course not. Alright, and looks like, unless Eri bomb jumped over, because we asked him during the interview, in order to do it to the right side of the compass room for GT, we are not going to have to see a fire rod today.
Well, that would have been funny if we found the fire rod there.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we have one more possible location in order to see the fire rod this time.
No,
oh,
never mind.
No, we're not even going to see that.
Clear mouse, we're not going to see anything here. We're just going to see a man hover over the gap.
Yeah. Alright, so it looks like Shady has picked up his hookshot in from the bridge chest, so he just needs to pick up his big key and he can get the heck out of fire and on to finishing up the rest of the game. Alright, somewhat of a not convenient pattern. Gets 2 hits in first phase. Nice triple on the second one, so we just need one more shot in order to finish up Agnum 2. So, do you think Eri knows how to defeat Ganon with a Temper Sword?
No.
Okay, alright, so maybe this will be his first time and he'll just have to kind of wing it.
Yeah, sure. Hey, there we go. We got the balance restored. Anyways, yeah, Eri's done enough of these seeds. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Right,
nice double there.
Yep, we heard the clink off the trident, and really nice position for Ganon. Eri's going to be able to snug himself in a little corner here. Presumably get the 1-1 and then on to phase 3.
I would be dumbfounded if he didn't get the 1-1 there with that kind of skill. Alrighty, over here to the top right. And now Ganon decides he needs to warp. Enough out of you, Ganon. We want bacon, and we want bacon now.
Yeah,
all right.
We're ready to finish up the seed.
Alright, so it looks like Gary's just going to go ahead and play it safe here to get this torch glitch, because that's going to be very essential. But 12 spins for Eriror to win his way to a Game 3 tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. We're how many spins in? 2?
Yeah, something like that.
That's 3. He's got 4 with that spot over there, and now relights the torch. Gets nice job there to get 5 before he zooms away. He'll be able to get a triple out of this. That's going to be 7 or 6 or something. I think that was 7. That's 8. And 9, I'll probably one off. And there's 10 to the bottom right. That should be 11. And that's it. That's 12.
Nice counting, Rook.
Hey, there we go. And this series is not done and over with. Eriror has forced to Game 3.
Get your GGs out in chat for Eri finishing up and claiming first place with, let's see, official time 1 hour, 27 minutes, 49 seconds. Yo, hey Eri.
Hi, Eriror.
GGs.
Thanks.
Your internet apparently hates us playing the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about the technical issues.
No, you're not. Oh, you're sorry about the technical issues. You're not sorry about the us missing out on the Big Key guessing game.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you can still guess.
I guess 0. I was right because we never saw the Big Key on your side. Where was it?
Yeah, it was in Hope Room, left chest. So it was 2.
Oh, did you go Hope Room first?
Yeah, because I didn't have the fire out, so at that point I was like, well, might as well.
Oh, wow. Divergence.
We also have shadyforce in here. GG's to you.
Yeah,
Harry.
GG's Shady.
Yeah, GG Shady.
I do want to ask this question here to Shady because I'm just a little curious about this one here. Is when you mirrored, what was it, maybe 40 minutes into the run, after doing Thieves Town, you mirrored into the light world, but then went back into the dark world with the purple chest. Was that a point where you were going to do Magic Bat and decided against it?
I kind of forgot that I didn't have the hammer, and without the hammer, I'd be burning my Dark World portal. So there's no point really doing Magic Bat when I can just do like all the South Dark World stuff instead, which is many more checks. So at that point, I was about to do it, but it's a bad thing to do. I should do it later. That's not the right thing to do. Hypecade is more stuff.
And honestly, at that point, you have to write that off as bad luck. The fact that the flute, which would have made it easier for you to get back to that area to do the other Dark World stuff if you needed to, turned out to be there.
Yeah, this was just a disaster seed. I feel like I made every wrong decision in it, but it's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
You did do some good Ancilla stuff, so you already get your boots.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, eventually. That's so annoying.
You both wound up failing at the first attempts to get the right stuff in order to get the boots the first time around after you saw them. And Shady, you went back and you kept trying to do it. And little did we know, about a few seconds later, Eriror found the thing that kept it in logic.
Oh, yeah. I knew those flippers were somewhere, but I was kind of hoping they would be somewhere dumb, and they weren't really.
Well, technically, the shovel is somewhere dumb, just Eriror got there sooner.
Yeah, it was a pretty silly sequence, and I think it could have gone like even worse if the shovel was actually fire locked. And I was kind of hoping for it after I found the boots, and I was like, okay, I got the lamp at least. It's like, okay, I can do Hera, and then Hera Basement had an item. I was like, okay, well, maybe if Shady's sequence broke to Death Mountain, maybe I can get there. And then like Desert, okay, well, maybe it's Green Pendant, and it was all nothing. So I didn't feel too good, especially after like kind of almost lost locationing the flippers.
Okay, I've got somebody annoyingly revving up a motorcycle out here, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it to Clearmouth to ask the next questions.
So, yeah. Well, I don't know. So, I guess, like, did you guys have any other thoughts, like, in general about the scene? Like, were you guys worried about, I guess, like, Fire Rod being a thing at all?
It was an interesting seed. I don't think there's any way someone feels good about the seed, though. Like, there were so many awkward sequences and so many really weird possibilities of getting items that Shady and I were talking a little bit, and we had like completely different routes apparently. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel great for most of it. I was like, okay, the flute's really good, but then also the flute didn't really lead to anything. And after like Hammer, I was like thinking, it's like, well, I didn't actually need the flute in order to get this, because the hookshot is great and all, but like I did all of Death Mountain for nothing. And if Shady does manage to like go to ice early, get the hammer, and then like be able to do like hammer packs together with powder or something, I was like, well, this could be really awkward. Yeah, it was just a really wacky seed.
Yeah, like in reality, it's just really hard to avoid some of these dumb things. Like when you get the hammer, like I don't know how you, like, yeah, I don't know. I prefer the first seed we did, even though I only played 8 minutes of it. That was much better.
Yeah, that one was great.
Yeah, like there was actually quite the difference too, right? Because like at least the first 10 minutes we saw you guys get like I don't know, like 10 different Y items or something in Kakariko and Escape, and then here it was just like nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think there might be a problem with my SD card, because I'm getting some scary flashing lights on my SD to SNES, and a couple of times it's failing to boot up, so I'm a little worried. That's the first time it's ever crashed during a rando, for non-rando reasons. Like I've had the MSU crash, or I've had the crash where you mirror at the same time you pick up a big key, but that's like on the runner. But I think that's the first time I've actually just had a full-out hardware issues during a race, and it's obviously just really bad timing.
Yeah, that was weird, the fact that that happened and exactly where it did happen in the Lost Woods. Maybe something to do with the additional layer of the clouds. That's the only thing I could have thought of at that point.
Yeah, I think it's probably a problem reading from the SD card. I'm just going to order a new one and transfer all my stuff over.
Yeah, I really hope it doesn't happen again, at least. Like,
Yeah.
once I read it in chat, I was like, I like, especially if it's 8 minutes in, like, there's no way that I'm just gonna take the W like that. And I really want an actual race against Shady and, you know, earn the win. So
Now the question is how much friendlier was the other seed, because we got to see a little bit of that start there, and it was at least a nice start. And then this one here was like, hey, you know all those good things that you got in that first seed? Well, here's nothing, and you're gonna like it.
Yeah, it's going to be harder to be worse than this. Like, it's possible, but like this was a really rubbish one.
yeah.
But anyway, it's okay. I don't need to worry too much because tomorrow I'll be playing my Super Mario World Tourney stuff on the actual cart and not on the SD, so I'm sorted. Don't worry about our game 3. It doesn't matter.
Excellent. Cool. I'll take it.
As long as you can do that run, jump, and fly with a cape without any sort of issues, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, game 3 tomorrow morning at 9:10 a.m. Eastern. Anything you want to say leading up to that race, both of you?
Well, hopefully we get to run plenty in that one as well. So
Yeah, hopefully
it's
you get
a
to
bit
run
closer
plenty
than
and
this
don't have to bypass the flippers to get to it.
yeah, it was probably a worse location for the boots to be honest. Like, especially because they were visible and it's like, so if anyone really cares, like, the fact that we both did Armos probably before that, it set the Ancilla because we like use so many arrows. I think it sets the Ancilla to a point where you can't do the normal setup in order to get the fake flipper, the Ancilla deletion. So I was really happy when I found the lamp on Zora, because I thought if you spam the lamp a couple of times, it like empties or resets the Ancilla so you could do the normal setup. But I don't know, it didn't work. I'm not exactly sure why, but I'll have to look into that. But it was like so weird. It was like, oh yes, I can actually do it now. And then it's like, why is it not working? Okay, well, time to find flippers.
I thought there was a thing where you'd like spam the lamp, like 3 lamps and then 6 arrows or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. I tried something like that, but it didn't work. I'm not an expert in it though, so maybe there's more to it.
Yeah, we had a few speculations here in chat about that, but the one thing here is that this seed was rude. It was disgusting, but you both got through it. And GG's to you, Eriror. You have forced a game 3. And, you know, maybe we'll have a nice, close, tight finish for game number 3 between you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, hopefully without any technical or internet issues. It would be nice just be able
hopefully.
to see full of both sides. No frustrations on the side. But GG's against Shady, and I hope we get a good game 3 tomorrow.
Yeah, GG's. Catch you tomorrow. Good luck.
And you can tell the respect that both of these runners have for each other based on this interview here, Clear Mouse.
Oh yeah, no, I mean these guys are both very upstanding, and certainly, you know, like really, I mean, not only they're top runners, right? They're just good people.
All right,
Best of
so
luck. Yeah,
that's gonna wrap things up for this match here between Eriror and shadyforce. Game 3 tomorrow morning at 9:10 a.m. Eastern on one of these SpeedGaming channels. Don't go too far away. You have a little bit of time, but coming up in about 32 minutes from now, we have another big, exciting game here, and it's on the other side of this bracket, where Jet and Obscure Lifeform will be playing in a must-win Game 3 for these two coming up in 30 minutes.
And this is actually, the winner of that is actually going to face the winner of Eriror and Shady, right? Is that what we said earlier?
That's right. So it's one that these two are going to be watching to see who they face in the next round in the quarterfinals of this tournament. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have James FNX and Swedish Arctic Fox on the call for that race. All right, let's go ahead and wrap things up for this one here, Clear Mouse. We have to thank Rock for clicking those buttons and doing the tracking for this match, and also for these two runners, Eriror PS and shadyforce Games. Be sure to follow both of them.
Oh yeah, no, these guys are some of the best runners in the entire community. Not to mention just like really nice guys, upstanding of course, and just super friendly and nice. And definitely,
awesome.
yeah. Oh yeah, and they put up actually a really good race for us, both in game 1 and in game 2. Definitely looking forward to game 3. And of course, yeah, and thanks Dark for clicking all of the buttons, actually going through all of the difficulties with us, being able to keep all of us honest. Everything is up to date, and of course, Rick, thank you so much for being, for doing this awesome commentary.
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure, especially since we got to do a fake out early, and then we got to do this one here.
That's right.
Fun match.
yeah, we got 2 races for the price of 1, right?
Well, not really, but we got a fraction of a race in this one here. So let's go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back again in 30 minutes for the next race between Jet and Obscure Lifeform. Until then, Claire, you have the final word. I'm Eriror saying thank you for joining us here on Speed Gaming.
Yeah, no, thanks again, Ari and Shady, for an awesome game 2 and game 1. Looking forward to game 3. Until then, have a great day.